mean, there's a real mental factor when you see yourself in front of the mirror with well-developed muscles and you look good on the beach. And there's a certain omnipotence that goes along with this. I can beat anything, or that hostility, that aggression, that well-being. And again, it's a factor that a lot of people can't see what it's doing to them inside.
Aside from increased hostility and aggression, there are numerous physical side effects: acne, hair loss in men, and facial hair for women, breast enlargement in men, reduction in women. Males also face testicular atrophy, shrinkage, and sterility. There's also the potential for liver disorder, prostate and liver cancer. All high stakes for rapid muscle growth and fast recovery from workouts.
Dr. Bob Goldman from Chicago, who wrote a book called The E Factor, surveyed 289 world-class athletes. And he asked them the question, if you could take a magic drug that would guarantee that you would be a winner for the next 5 years in anything you attempted, and that drug, after you were done with those 5 years, shortened your life, okay, or you died at the end of those 5 years, would you take the drug? 103, more than 50%, answered that they would take the drug.
A new survey released in the Journal of the American Medical Association provides some alarming statistics. In 1987, nearly 7% of the 3,400 high school senior boys polled said they used steroids. Using that projection, it suggests between 250 and 500,000 high school students have or are using steroids. New Jersey's Assistant Attorney General Ron Susswine joining us now. Ron, are lawmakers and law enforcement officials playing catch-up at this point?
Well, we have a lot of catching up to do. Right now, the law enforcement community has little or no role to play at all in controlling the distribution of anabolic steroids. Unlike controlled dangerous substances such as cocaine or heroin or marijuana, these drugs are not mind or mood altering. They're treated differently under the law. We simply don't have tough punishment.
Should there be a criminal enforcement involved in this? Right now, who is handling steroid investigations and abuses in New Jersey?
Right now, those types of investigations are almost exclusively a regulatory matter, regulating doctors through the Department of Health, regulating pharmacists through the Pharmacy Board. I think that law enforcement can play a role, but it's important to understand that law enforcement is not going by itself to solve the anabolic steroid problem any more than we have been able to solve the cocaine problem.
The real experts on steroids are the abusers, those who are using steroids. We'd like you to hear from a former Division III college football player who we'll call Bill. He was a three-sport star from New Jersey, looking for an edge. Now he's 21 years old and seeking help from a psychologist as he fights his steroid addiction.
When I went away to school, a few friends of mine that I met there gave me these pills, these little blue pills, and I started to take them, and they happened to be one of the weaker forms of anabolic steroids. And I liked them, you know, they made me stronger, they made me more aggressive, and I could handle them. They didn't really affect my head too much. So I used them for a while, and it got to the point where I wanted more and more and more, so I started to do the needles. My head started to go. I started to think only about weightlifting and being big, and I didn't really think about anything else in my life but football and weightlifting.
Was a big part of the steroid use looking for that edge in athletics?
That was the whole thing. I was looking for an edge. I didn't feel I wanted to be the best. I wasn't happy with what I had. I wasn't secure with the body God gave me, and I wanted to be an animal. That's what I was taught, to play football, and you have to be an animal, and they make you an animal.
Were there ever concerns about the side effects?
In the beginning, no, because I didn't feel any side effects. But when I started to do heavy drugs and use a lot, I started to get scared. And I started to stay up at night and worry, and I started to question what I was doing. And I would blow up like a time bomb, you know, just at anybody, anyone, family, anyone, because all the drugs I was taking. And that's when I started to think about what I was doing. Plus I got pains all over my liver, and all kinds of things started to happen to me you know, that's when I started to think they were kind of bad for me.
Welcome back to our Sports People Play special, Steroid Abuse, Muscle Madness. Medical research into steroid use is lagging due to the potentially harmful human side effects. So Mary Beth Duffy visited a former pro boxer, Robert Hazelton, to find out how steroid abuse cost him his career and almost his life.
Year-old Robert Hazelton works out 6 days a week. This day with help from his daughter Cindy. The one-time professional boxer is now confined to a wheelchair after losing both his legs due to steroid abuse. Here's Hazelton on the left back in 1978, a light heavyweight hyping one of his 25 pro fights. 1 year later, after losing to the number 2 ranked European heavyweight Lucian Rodriguez, he left the ring for good. But Hazelton's retirement was not voluntary. He says it was helped along by his continued use of steroids. He started taking them back in 1971 when his family doctor prescribed them. Hazelton took them in his quest to become bigger and stronger, and hopefully more successful. The steroids worked for a while, but not before taking a toll on Hazelton's body.
I started having pains in my left leg and my groin area, like the latter part of 79, to where we went in for tests. And it should have had a clot in my left leg. They said I couldn't box again. That was 1980 because the leg was so bad off that it was swelling up.
So bodybuilding replaced boxing. And Hazelton says he became so obsessed with the way he looked, he continued using heavy doses of steroids over objections from his family.
My wife was so upset because, like, here we were buying double X large shirts and everything else. My clothes wouldn't even fit me. And I was telling her, you know, I don't feel very big. I got to do something else. And I was huge, humongous. And I was using like 1,000 to 1,400 milligrams a week on steroids. And by 1983, I'd had my second bypass on my legs. And by 1984 and 85, the leg had gotten so big to where it was cracking the skin, to where it was just oozing poison out of the skin. Even then, I still kept doing steroids because I had such a psychological type of thing that, you know, you figured, well, you know, once I stop, you know, I'm gonna be all right, I'll be better off.